Good evening. I'm Greg Sharpe. Our sports ticker brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. No spring practice today for the Huskers, but after yesterday's workout, special teams coordinator Ed Foley met with the media and talked about dealing with our old Nebraska wind day in and day out here in Cornhusker country.
Yeah, we were in there in the scrimmage, and it's not like there's a lack of wind on the practice field either. But to me, those are big conversations in the NFL. So those are, to me, challenges. Those are things that we have to overcome. They're part, and that's a huge advantage for us if we can, figure out the wind or figure out what the wind's going to do or figure out how we're going to attack the wind. So we're talking, and I'm talking to Timmy all the time again, with some of the things that I learned in the NFL. We're looking at aiming points in the stadium or aiming points on the practice field that we're going to play the wind from. So, the pipes are obviously good, and we're trying to get the ball inside the pipes, but that's not always our aiming point. So we're working on, and that's true in the punt game as well. So the wind is a challenge, but it's something that we're going to deal with week in and week out and have an approach and a plan for how we're going to handle it.
Huskers back on the practice field tomorrow as we inch closer to the April 22nd spring game. Golf's first major, the Masters, starts tomorrow at Augusta National. Today, the Par 3 tournament was held, and North Dakota's Tom Hoagie was victorious, defeating Bubba Watson by a shot. Plenty of afternoon baseball. The Guardians turned back the Athletics 6-4 in 10 innings. The White Sox a winner over the Giants on the south side 7-3. The Astros upended the Tigers 8-2. It was the Rangers 5, the Orioles 2. Milwaukee with a walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth beat the Mets 7-6. Pirates over the Red Sox 4-1. The Braves beat the Cardinals in St. Louis 5-2. Miami over Minnesota 5-2 as well. And 4-2 final, the Yankees beat the Phillies and the Rays, a 7-2 victor over the Nationals. Bottom of the ninth, it's the Angels leading the Mariners 4-3. The 1890 Initiative, helping student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. Now get ready for a full night of Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Ralston again delivers 1-2. And Andrews swings and blasts it. Deep left center field. And gone! Home run, Brooke Andrews. And Nebraska takes the lead in the sixth.
To the fall, the 0-1 slider ripped to right. Hit pretty well. Ryan Mooring going back, looking up, and it is gone. Home run, Max Anderson. A 3-run blast to right field. And the Huskers have taken a 3-0 lead.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
And here we are, a Wednesday hump day edition of Sports Nightly on the Huskers Radio Network. Hope you're doing okay. You agree with Ed Foley, the wind, it's part of it, right? You like the wind.
It is. I won't say which sport or which coach I was sitting next to, but there was a recruit that was asking about tornadoes and if they happened in Nebraska. And I said, well, when's the last time it happened in Lincoln? I mean, even though the wind is here, but it's absolutely, the wind can be off the charts. But as far as tornadoes, I mean, it may feel like the wind gusts may feel like tornadoes, but not close.
It's windy out there today. My goodness, what a difference a day makes. This was like 80 degrees yesterday. A lot of people out playing golf. Today it's 40-something. Cold.
It literally happened in like an hour. It was warm, and then all of a sudden it wasn't. But hopefully it's gone after today. It's the warm is...
Extended looks pretty good.
Yes.
It does look pretty good.
It does. I've already put on my winter clothes, and so I'm like, I can't deal with this back and forth anymore.
But just kind of rolling with that, that's a part of it in college football from week to week, as Ed Foley mentioned. The kickers, the Bleak Roads, the Bushinis, it's going to be different every game. Hopefully not to what we've been dealing with here, but you're going to have wind.
Yeah, and I'm working on a feature with Brian Buschini, and we talked about that. It was fascinating, and he talked about how, there's a certain, I guess, yardage that you measure if a punter is good at his job, but then it's a different yardage for Big Ten, for guys in the Big Ten, because of the weather that you deal with here in this conference, and whether it be wind, whether it be snow, you never know what you're dealing with. So there's a standard for punters, and then there's a standard for Big Ten punters, and if you hit that standard in the Big Ten, and obviously he's talked a lot about how it means a lot to him to be a part of the legacy of the Big Ten punters. But yeah, and we saw it with the snow day, and And they want to have these guys experience the elements any way they can so that they know what to expect. Because literally you're going to go from playing in miserable heat to, I mean, it was miserably cold that one game. What game was that? Was it
Wisconsin?
Minnesota or Wisconsin? Yeah.
It was Wisconsin, I think.
It might rain, it might snow in Michigan, and it might have 85-mile-an-hour winds. You never know.
Yep.
So you better be ready for all of it.
Well, and that's why I think they've taken practice outside in some of this junk that we've had here the last couple of weeks, and that they'd obviously like to get into some warmer, more seasonable temperatures, and well, so would we all. We're going to hear from a couple of Huskers tonight on the program. One of those is Turner Corcoran, the offensive lineman. My goodness, you're talking about a guy that's got a lot of football underneath his belt. He's played a lot for the Huskers during his career. We're also going to hear from Jamari Butler, a guy that went in the portal for about 24 hours and then pulled his name back out. But two guys that, and you know how excited I've been about Jimari. I think he's a star waiting to happen.
In fact, you were asking about which interviews to run, and I said I got Jimari, and you're like, he's my fave.
Yep.
We've been hearing a lot about him, and I think this defense is going to fit Jimari. Maybe a little bit better than the defenses that he's been a part of here so far, his time here. But I think he's bulked up. Wait till you see the interview if you're going to watch on the live stream or when you see it. I mean, he's big. He looks the part, and he's stepping into more of a leadership role. I think he's got a lot of confidence. I think he's embracing, the expectations and you better bust your hiney if you want to be a part of this team and be out on the field. I think he likes that. And I think with a lot of these players, when you talk to these coaches, I think they're inspired in a way that not taking anything away from the previous coaching staff, but I think some of the conversations that they're having, just again, like Heinrich Harburg said it best, just a renewed energy, a found kind of passion and love for being out there. And I think Jimari is definitely one of those guys. And I think he sees that he can be a really good fit in this defense because it's changing.
Yep.
And it is conducive to very versatile players and guys that can move around and play different ways. And Jimari, we haven't seen a lot of it yet, but I think we've heard so much and hearing with coaches and just along the way and just knowing how crazy athletic he is. He is a guy that you would expect to be able to do a lot of different things.
One of the coaches, and I can't remember which one it was, it might have been Terrence Knight, when he was asked, this is a month or so ago, describe the defense. And I think the word he used was chaos. Mm-hmm. We can create chaos because we can line up so many different ways and make an offense and a quarterback go, whoa, what is that they're in now? So there's a lot of learning to be done.
To me, it's going to be fascinating because I've never dealt with a defensive coordinator like this. Like, normally defenses do what defenses do, and then the offensive coordinators go in. And I mean, how many times have we said that? I said Lincoln Riley's the best at it, seeing what the matchups are on the defense and exploiting those matchups. Mark Whipple was really good at that, and he has been really good at that his entire career. The best offensive coordinators look at defenses and see where the weaknesses are and how to exploit it. But if this is going to be something different every week, how do the best offensive coordinators go about seeing where they can attack? I would imagine it's got to be more on the fly, making adjustments in game as opposed to game planning against a certain scheme that you know that you're going to get against Nebraska. I think it's just, it's more so the defense is going to plan for the offense that they're going to face each week.
Looking forward to hearing both of your interviews with those two as we move through the show tonight. Folks, from time to time, we talk about NAPL. Jessica's going to give you a closer insight into what that exactly is. They are housed here in East Stadium. In fact, a couple of floors above where we're broadcasting from right now. This is going to be a full-length podcast. We're going to hear a snippet of it later tonight. I'm sure that was a learning curve for you to figure out all that they do up there.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you hear about it, and Fred Hoiberg, John Cook talk a lot about NAPL. They're two of the programs that really utilize NAPL a lot, but you still don't know what all goes into it. And I know and even when talking to recruits, why they choose here, a lot of times that comes up. And I think that's because nowhere else has the kind of facility that Nebraska has. They were the first of the kind. They're the only program that has the sports scientists on staff. They're the only ones that do what they do, basically. I mean, you're talking about Major League Baseball teams come in here. There's an NBA facility. There's an NBA team. In fact, Fred Hoiberg talked about that on his show. His son is with the Spurs. They came up here to tour the NAPL lab to implement one in San Antonio. So, I mean, you're talking about NBA teams don't have what Nebraska has. And so, just wanted to dive into that a little bit more. And so, yeah, I talked to Matt Tomy, who is the director of NAPL, and kind of dove into all of that and scientist stuff and what exactly they all do. And so kind of shed a light on that program.
We're looking forward to hearing that. That will be coming up in hour 2 of the program tonight. And as always, we want you to be a part of this one as well. 402-413-2400 with a call or a text. We had an all-staff meeting today, and I bumped into Nate Lenzer and Adam Howard, Husker basketball coaches, with Coach Hoiberg, and I said, wow, you guys are busy. And they're like, yeah, this is because they've got to retool. They've got to fill some voids in the roster. They only signed one guy in November, and with the departures of the Walkers and the Griezels and the Vandemel, they've got to retool this thing, and so they're knee-deep into this transfer portal right now. It's a critical time for the men's basketball program.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy, too. There's their dead period, and then it's kind of quick when you have to happen. And I was going to ask you, I mean, I know the transfer portal has been what it has been, but I feel like the men's basketball portal might be crazier than the football portal.
I think you might be right. And it has been for years. Men's basketball has really been an area where guys transfer a lot.
It's just like, some big names and for programs that you don't expect guys to leave.
Hunter Dickinson, the big, tall center at Michigan.
From Michigan.
He's in the portal.
Here's some guys leaving Creighton. I mean, it's just like, some of these programs that you just don't necessarily maybe expect. And so there's some... All that being said, across the country, and we've seen it, like you said, with Sam Griesel, Juwan Gary was one of those guys. There's a lot of talent to be had in that portal and program-changing talent that can really change a season. With the basketball team, you get one or two guys, and you can completely change how the trajectory of a season. And so, yes, it's a big time, and I would love to see what their board looks like of who's on the top. Got to have a big man, right? A big guy to replace Derek Walker. But what does that list look like as far as guys that are in the portal? Who would be the number one guy,
right,
and who are you trying to go get? And when are we going to know about Casey?
I think we're a ways off, honestly. I don't know that I think it's more of a matter of weeks than days.
Yeah.
With Casey. Don't you get that feeling? He's not quite ready to make that full decision?
Yeah, and I think they have some scholarships to work with a little bit more where, with the women, they have so many young players coming back that they probably needed to know because they might only have one or two to work with, whereas the men have a few to work with because you have Sam Griesel, Derek Walker, Emmanuel Bandemel, then the transfers. You've got some scholarships to work with there that if you are waiting on Casey, it doesn't necessarily completely kill you.
But they've lost Denham Dawson's to the portal.
Yep.
Oleg, who was Andrew's favorite, he's jumped in the portal now. And I'm missing one. Oh, the point guard has been hurt, McPherson. So
Q.
you've got guys that actually Q is he's still here. So I guess it's just Denham and Oleg.
Yeah.
But they've left along with Sam and Emmanuel and Derek, who've exhausted their eligibility. But it's not. I think that they're in better shape now than they were 12 months ago because CJ's back. He was a good role player for him this year. Jawan is back.
Yes.
Even though he just came in last year, you still have him as a part of this. Jamarcus Lawrence became, I think, a really good player.
Yeah, he's going to be a really good piece.
And Blaze. You got Blaze.
Yes.
Who's still a part of this.
And
Wilhelm.
his upside is so tremendous.
I agree.
He just couldn't stay out on the court long enough, but you saw tremendous jumps when he could get out there for extended periods, and then he got hurt, and that high ankle sprain just nagged. And then you saw Sam Hoiberg step up and do good things.
Didn't even mention him. Yeah.
And so, they've got some good pieces coming back. It's just a matter of getting, a couple. And they love Cale Jacobson.
Yes.
I mean, his a name that's come up a lot.
Walk on from just up the road in Ashland. Yeah.
I mean, I think they've got some really and Wilhelm Breidenbach.
Yep.
And so they've got some good pieces. You need a couple of, I think two, a big man inside that can do, and probably a point guard. Yeah.
Yeah. And the point guard that they were after from Arizona did announce today that he's chosen West Virginia. And I think it came down to Nebraska, and he's going to go play for Huggy at West Virginia. So I know that was hurtful as they put a lot of attention on him, but they've got other names that they're certainly after.
And what's crazy, though, is if you don't get Casey back, you've got to get a shooter.
True. No, that's true.
That kind of changes your priority list, I feel like, because I think Jamarcus can run the point.
Yeah, I think so.
if he needed to.
Yeah.
But I think you got to have a shooter, because we saw at times how much that hurt when Casey wasn't going, or even last year they needed a knockdown shooter.
Boy, I like both those guys, Adam and Nate. They're really good.
Awesome.
I feel like Coach Hoiberg has got his staff right. I don't think that was the case 2 years ago. I think it is now.
Yeah, they're it's a great staff, and just the way that they kind of restructured things too, the recruiting part of it. And I think, with Coach Hoiberg, he's not one that is a micromanager, and he understands that he's got guys that he can utilize that have really good assets that maybe do things better than he does. And so I know Adam Howard was going to look at the scheduling, because that was kind of hurt this team this year. And so, if moving forward, how are you going to set your program up for success? Because it's a full season type of deal if you want to get into the postseason, and you have to balance getting good quality games and opponents, but then also not beating yourself up. And this team beat themselves up this year. It was way too hard, probably. I mean, I think they would all agree, probably way too hard of a non-conference. So, I think like things like that. And I think Coach Hoiberg is appreciating what all these guys bring, and they're just fantastic people. I ran into Ernie Ziegler today, and I was talking to him. So you were talking to the other two, and then I saw Coach Hoiberg up there.
I didn't even see Ernie. That's a big room. There's a lot of people there.
There's a lot of people there. It's a fun staff. I really, really like that staff. Just overall, you might have your favorite coaches, but that staff is they're wonderful.
I think Coach Hoiberg's got it right on that. I've got a text in. What about Hunter Salas? Do you think there's a chance he comes home? I do. I think Hunter is in the portal. He's leaving Gonzaga. He's an Omaha guy. I think Nebraska has made contact with Hunter. So, yeah, I think that they're going to make an attempt to get in on Hunter. I think it's more to the texture. I think it's more, does Hunter want to come back and play here? I think it's maybe more on him. I think Nebraska would absolutely welcome him onto this team.
A lot of that Nebraska talent is in the portal right now.
Right, coming back.
That left.
Now they're coming back.
That I think they're kind of seeing.
The grass sometimes ain't greener on the other side.
Yeah, well, but also just, obviously Creighton is Creighton, but then just seeing, I think I don't know if we said this on the air the other night, but with Chucky Hepburn, could you imagine coming back here and being from Nebraska and having that kind of crowd against you? I would think you'd maybe feel a little bit of FOMO. If you grew up watching this kind of program, for some of these Nebraska kids, they dream about playing here, like Sam Griesel, this was his dream come true. And I know he's made it very clear how much that meant to him to be able to play this season here. So for some of these Nebraska kids, I think maybe seeing what was done this year for Nebraska and the crowds and what can happen here if there's a successful basketball team. That's, to me, you got to be luring a little bit. Like I would want to come play for that.
Well, stay tuned, folks. We'll stay on it. Nothing to report yet. They're working at it. Both those guys confirmed to me, yeah, we're making calls and
Fred Hoiberg still is a guy that if you're an offensive player that want to get to the NBA, because his system still works, and the proof is in the pudding of him getting guys that stay in the NBA long term too.
Good stuff. All right, 402-413-2400. The number if you want to dial us up with a comment or question or fire off a text. That is our Sports Nightly hotline, brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com. Anytime, 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. More of Sports Nightly, including Jessica's sit down with Turner Corcoran, who's, I think, gotten bigger, believe it or not. We'll have that for you next.
A DUI is everything you didn't prepare for. You did not save for it. You did not train for it. You did not go to school for it. You did not raise your family or buy a house or get a job for it. It is not your life goal or a dream come true. You have planned for everything in your life. You did not plan for a DUI. Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It's time for another round of Nebraska Farm Facts. If there's one thing Nebraska's known for, it's our beef. And Nebraska soybeans feed a lot of them, and even more pigs and chickens. Farmers and ranchers raise livestock and poultry to provide nutritious, affordable protein for all ages to help build muscle and maintain energy for a healthy lifestyle. Keep that in mind as you prepare all that tasty meat on your tailgate grill. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. That's why we make trucks like Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight and counting. Made for performance and capability. Made to play hard and work smart, on and off-road. That's because they're built Ford tough. So be future ready with Ford F-Series, based on 1977 to 2022 calendar year total sales.
Hi, it's Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald.
And I'm Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star.
Hey, listen, HuskerExtra.com and the Husker Extra mobile app have the best coverage of Nebraska sports.
Our reporting team shares features and analysis of all Husker sports, along with the latest recruiting news and more.
Plus, Husker Extra subscribers have access to our exclusive podcast, The Showdown, where we share our latest insights and expectations.
Go to HuskerExtra.com or search Husker Extra in your app store.
Download and subscribe today.
Baseball season has arrived, and your local Cenex has all your favorite snacks and beverages for the game. So whether you're hitting the road for an away game, headed to Haymarket Park, or going to cheer on your favorite local team, make Cenex your destination for top quality fuel, your favorite snacks, and service from a local smile. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally at Cenex.
Other irrigation companies are finally discovering what T&L Irrigation is known for decades. Continuous movement is the best way to irrigate. While they'll have you pay for complicated upgrades to get steady, even water application with their high-voltage electric systems, all T&L Irrigation pivots and linears are propelled safely and smoothly by powerful hydrostatic drive. Continuous movement isn't new, it's the T&L standard. Don't get talked into a reinvented wheel. Pick the proven original. Call your T&L Irrigation dealer today or visit TLIRR.com. T&L, like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Looking for a car buying experience tailored to you? Start with Woodhouse, a trusted partner for automotive needs and a proud member of the Nebraska community. With 18 brands and 21 sales and service locations, our dedicated Woodhouse team is ready to provide you a convenient and seamless transaction from anywhere. Whether purchasing, selling, or servicing, experience the difference with Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
SOS to the rescue! SOS to the rescue!
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue! SOS!
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, NABL Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. NABL Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit nablcompanies.com. Go Big Red. The Huskers provide reliability on the field, and so does Kubota. Kubota's BX Series subcompact tractor is reliable, comfortable, and versatile. The BX is available in four-wheel drive with gross engine horsepower from 16.6 to 24.8. The BX Series can comfortably and efficiently perform a variety of daily tasks, including gardening, landscaping, and general property maintenance. Experience the Kubota difference. Visit nebraska-kubotadealers.com or visit Nebraska Equipment in Seward or North Platte Kubota in North Platte.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card. Free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, which is sponsored by Acres. They are the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres Solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you. It's a Wednesday night Sports Nightly here on the Huskers Radio Network. Huskers did not practice today. Back out there tomorrow as we get a little bit closer every day to April 22nd. Over 53,000 tickets have been sold for the spring game. Well, one of the veterans on this team, Turner Corcoran's played an awful lot of football. He's played a lot of different spots along that line. You had a chance to catch up with him here in the last couple of days.
And he got a haircut, which, you know, he's normally got kind of the long flowing hair. So I was like, I almost didn't recognize you. But yeah, got a chance to chat with Turner Corcoran after practice the other day. Well, I hardly didn't even recognize you with the haircut. And I'm used to seeing the long flowing blonde hair.
Yep. Yeah, I had to chop it off. It was about time it went away. So, yep.
Well, how's spring ball going so far?
It's going pretty good. You know, I think the guys are really liking the new system with Coach Sat, and, you know, the guys in the O-line room are, you know, working really well together, you know, being able to build off of what we had last year with Coach Donnie being around. So I think that's pretty good for us.
How are you feeling personally, physically, all of that? I know you had battled some injuries last year at this point, so how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. You know, just got to keep the body in the right shape and the right mindset and everything like that. You know, spring ball isn't easy. It's not quite like fall camp, but it's still not easy. But, you know, we're getting through it. We're doing a really good job of, you know, coming together as a team. You know, it's something that Coach wants to keep us building on.
I know you were stepping into a leadership role last year, and now that you've played even more football, what's that been like, that part of what you're bringing to this team, that leadership role?
Yeah, so for me, I think it feels like more dudes are listening to me, you know, more guys on the defensive side of the ball, like Coach T. Knight over there, you know, his D linemen, you know, they're great dudes. But if I say something, you know, everyone hears it and everybody responds well to it, and that's pretty cool to see. Just because, like, it's not like I'm just saying stuff out there. So you know, there's a lot of dudes that are coming up and being leaders on this team. Elliott Brown, Bushini, Chief Borders has, you know, said some impactful stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of dudes throughout this team that could, you know, be either team captains or just seen as leaders.
I know it's new for pretty much everyone else, but for you guys, there's a lot of guys that are returning that have played a lot of football together on the line, and then Coach Raiola. So what's that like when you do have that familiarity with so many guys? Yeah,
you know, this group, we've played a good amount of ball together, and, you know, we're just looking to build off of it because, you know, we got a new guy in at center with Ben Scott, but Ben Scott's played a lot of football. He's seen a lot of stuff. You know, he's played right tackle and center. So, you know, it's just a matter of time before, you know, he really settles into this offense, and he's done a great job so far.
What about just with year two with Coach Raiola and the technique and all that? I mean, how helpful is that you're familiar with him and you can pick up where you left off last fall?
Yeah, the technique and the standards are all the same, you know, that he's set with us and everything like that. So, you know, we really we know our standards, and we hold ourselves accountable with one another.
You had mentioned the defensive line. That's what a lot of people want to know about. Guys, we know a lot of the names on the offensive line, but what's the defensive line look like and going up against those guys? Right.
It's a lot different, especially with T-Rob being out. Nash is still out there, obviously. Ruquan is another guy that's been in and out. And then there's new guys like Cam Lenhart, who's done a great job. Maverick Noonan. He's done a really good job, too. You know, there's some young guys that have been pretty impactful. Princewell. So, you know, I only see that room, you know, growing from here on out just because of how young they are. And then also with, like, you know, the ceiling that they have.
You guys, as the O-line, have to learn so much about the offense. What goes into that for you, learning this new offense, and what you guys have to do to be successful up front?
Yeah, so there's Chuba Purdy. I'm sorry, Chuba threw me off.
I know. Just learning the new offense and how important. I know you guys have to know so much, you know, as offensive line. What goes into learning a new offense, and so you guys can be successful up front?
Yeah, I mean, for most of the part, football doesn't really change. You know, you still got your plays, your gap schemes, zone schemes. It doesn't matter. It's just called different things. So that's what's been the adjustment for us. And then also running a different defense that our defense has been running has been challenging to pick up with, but, we'll get the hang of it. And just like them, they'll get the hang of our offense. So it's pretty fun.
How have the running backs looked?
Great. Those guys, they've been hitting the holes hard, and, I can't complain about that group. They sacrifice a lot for this team and our unit. So.
And then what about quarterbacks? Obviously, Chuba just came by and interrupted your interview, but I know Coach Roll has said there's a lot of talent in that room, probably the most he's ever been around. What's it been like this spring? I know there's a couple guys out, but just how have they developed so far?
Yeah, I got a great relationship with all my quarterbacks. I love those guys. It doesn't matter if, they're hurt right now or if they're playing. I always see a smile on their faces, and they're always encouraging guys during practice. And, I really like that group of people, so they're good dudes.
Have you set personal goals for yourself here this spring?
Yeah, I have, but that's in-house stuff. So
yeah.
Just
overall, just as an offense, what do you guys need to get accomplished here with these 15 practices?
Just get better every single day. Pick something. Coach was saying that you got to be able to pick something every single day to work on, whether it's run or pass. And if you keep building off that, you'll be able to get better. So.
And overall, just how do you like the way the culture and the team's kind of coming together so far throughout offseason and where you guys are through spring ball?
Yeah, I think this team has come a long ways, considering that, we had to go through mat drills. Not had to, we got to. And went through mat drills and, did a really good job during team commitment week. There were a lot of smiles on everybody's faces, even though we were faced with a lot of adversity with workouts and early workouts. But, I think this team has a backbone that we can really build off of.
I know this was a close-knit group. I said it all year last year. You could see it, how tight you were. And so how is that carried over and then implementing some new guys into that room too?
Yeah, I don't think really much of it's left, other than, I guess guys like, Trent and Brant and Kev that, moved on, and Brock. But, even those guys still text us and ask how are things going, especially Trent. I saw him the other day when I was walking to class. He was asking what everything was being called, pass schemes, run schemes. It was pretty cool. And he's still asking if we were doing certain drills. I was like, yes, Trent, don't worry, we're still doing those. And then, just being able to keep the young guys to get up to the standard, as well as, the transfers to be able to get up to the standard is, something we're working on. But, they're going to be right there with us. So
appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you.
I know that there are a lot of people that watched last season and thought, oh no, the offensive line. But I was very encouraged by the way that they continued to progress at the end of the season, and with having so much adversity with guys in and out of the lineup, so much injury, so many injuries to deal with. And I actually am excited about this group because Jeremiah talks all the time about you need to have 8 to 10 guys, and I think they're getting close to that finally. I think it's just been a process of having to it's just not something that you fix an offensive line room overnight. It takes time. I think they got some young talent, but then with the Ben Scott addition, you got Nuri coming back. I know he feels good. Teddy coming back. Teddy had a great offseason, obviously. And so, I think this group, and then they've played a lot of football together, which is also absolutely massive. I mean, Jeremiah said it a million times. I've worked with offensive lines in the past that have won the Bill Moore Award or that have Joe Moore Award. Who's Bill Moore? Joe Moore.
I'll have to Google Bill Moore.
Joe Moore Award that is given to the best offensive line, and a lot of it was that they played a lot of football together. So you've got a lot of these guys coming back and that have played a lot of football, and I can't wait to see where they finally end up putting Turner, though. I mean, he's played a lot of different positions.
Sure has. And you love the versatility. Coaches love the ability to, okay, somebody goes down on a certain snap. All right, Turner, slide in or slide out, whatever you have, or go to a different side of the line. You can handle it. Let's go.
Yeah, because, I mean, Teddy and Benhart aren't those guys, I mean, they're probably too big to play guard.
Right.
So
they are too tall.
And I don't know if Ethan Piper can play tackle, but to have someone like Turner that you can plug anywhere is big,
It is big.
And I mean, Jeremiah will argue that, and we're going to do a podcast with him getting all into the weeds talking offensive line because we had some people ask some questions. And so, but, he will argue that it's hard for your development if you're moving around. And so, but I think for Nebraska, it's been good. Maybe if you're talking long-term in the NFL, it maybe hurts them a little bit. But I think for Nebraska, it's good to have a guy like Turner that you can move around, especially when you had the lack of depth a year ago.
Absolutely. Molly can bing Bill Moore for us and see where that comes out.
I said that, I was like, what? Who's Bill Moore?
Couple of texts. I think you're going to see a tougher, more disciplined Husker football team come this fall just by following a couple of weeks of spring practice. Just think what fall camp will look like. Thanks, Justin. Go Big Red. Can't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no doubt about it, just hearing these football coaches talk and the clips that we've been able to see. Stephen Costello on the chat said Turner is going to be nasty this year with a question mark. You know, he fits the mold of one of those guys. It's really, really nice off the field and really mean on the field. So I hope that he finally gets healthy and gets comfortable in the spot that he's in. But I mean, I think we were really excited to see how he played at guard last year, and then he had to move to tackle after like 3 guards.
Yep.
But he was also hurt all pretty much throughout the spring. He didn't play at all in the spring, and then he in the fall was limited. So him being healthy, I am really excited. That's a guy that I'm really excited to see what kind of jump he makes, playing the amount of ball that he's played, but then also finally actually being healthy and having some depth where maybe you don't have to move him around as much.
Your take on the progress you saw from the offensive line, I think Matt Rule agrees with you, because I think when he went back and watched the tapes, and he was watching it, because I think he knew in early November Matt Rule was probably knew he was probably going to take this job. So he studied this team, and I think he saw the progress. And I think that's why Donovan Raiola is still here.
Yeah, and it's so hard. And that was one thing that Jeremiah talked about on the last podcast that kind of sparked a couple people asking me questions to ask him more questions about it. But just the technique is so different with offensive line. It's not like a wide receiver with a new coach. It is so much different. And so you see the progress. It would be a setback. You would basically take another step back. But, I mean, there was progress there that I think Coach Raiola earned his spot to be on this staff. But I also think with the progress that they were making, you're talking about bringing in another new offensive line coach and relearning everything else, because everything is different. Everybody teaches things differently. And also, I mean, and I said this here recently, and you and I have talked about it. We talked about it off air a lot. Like, being on the sideline, there's a lot of times that it wasn't the offensive line's fault all the time. I mean, I think it's one thing where if you're just watching and it's, oh, well, the quarterback gets knocked down, it's the offensive line. And it happens all the time, and Jeremiah says it's so frustrating because it's no matter what level it is, it's always the offensive line's fault if there's a sack or a tackle for loss. But I'm telling you, being on the sideline and listening to those coaches' huddles, it wasn't always on the offensive line. Running backs play a big part in that. Quarterbacks making the right read play a big role in that. Wide receivers picking up certain blocks play. I mean, it is not always on the offensive line.
Very good. All right. Hey, First Interstate Bank, built for you. Learn more at www.firstinterstatebank.com, member FDIC. Phone lines, text lines open 402-413-2400. More of the show coming up.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's time again for some Nebraska farm facts. For Nebraska soybean farmers, sustainability is a way of life. 97% of farms are family-owned, and 95% are participating in conservation programs and using sustainable practices. And they have significant sustainability goals by 2025. 10% more energy efficiency, 10% less land, and 25% less soil erosion. This message is brought to you by Nebraska soybean farmers, growing opportunity from the ground up.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. Husker students on the debate team and Bateman competition public relations team earned national championships this past year, marking a first for each program. The debate team claimed victory with one of the youngest teams in the country, while the Bateman competition public relations team won their championship by building a PR campaign for the Lymphoma Research Foundation.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. That's why we make trucks like Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight and counting. Made for performance and capability, made to play hard and work smart, on and off-road. That's because they're built Ford tough. So be future ready with Ford F-Series, based on 1977 to 2022 calendar year total sales.
To win the game, you got to have more strength. You got to be tougher. You got to be reliable. You got to want it more than the other guy. And you need a great team you can count on, backing you up the whole time. Whether it's in the field with your Massey Ferguson or on the field with the Huskers, red is the color of getting it done quicker, smarter, and efficiently. So this season, make sure you're checking out the lineup that'll get more done where and when it counts. From your Nebraska Massey Ferguson dealers.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, NABL Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. NABL Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit nablcompanies.com. Go Big Red.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the Blackshirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Back inside our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you Wednesday night, 402-413-2400 on our text line. When will the next Kicking Back with the Cooks episode air? It has been recorded. It is in processing.
I think tomorrow is what I was told. So it'll be tomorrow or Friday. It's
Okay.
tomorrow's Thursday,
so
right?
soon. It has been recorded.
Yeah.
It's ready to
I'm
drop.
told it's being worked on, so just got to post it. So I think tomorrow.
So there you go. Let's go to the phones. John up next on the program. Good evening, John. Welcome.
Hey, guys. I just had a couple questions. One, I think you guys you guys are a fantastic team to get.
John, your phone is bugging out on us.
My question.
Yeah, quickly get to your question because your phone's cutting in. Your phone's really cutting in and out on us here.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Where are we at on the scholarships? I know we need to get under 85, but where are we currently at? And do you guys know what the plan is on getting under 85?
Okay. Yeah. I think we're at 99 right now. With the first-year head coach, you get a little bit of relief. It's a couple on either side of that, and then COVID years, I think they're also still doing some different things with that. So I don't think you have to. I don't think 85 is the dead set number for Matt Rural in year one. But as we both have said, it's going to take care of itself. After spring ball ends, you're going to see some guys leave the team.
I'm not concerned at all about that number. I mean, I think there's probably going to be a quarterback or two leave. I think probably the defensive back, the secondary room's probably pretty crowded. Some guys want to go find a place where they can get some more playing time. It'll work itself out. I mean, I think probably for some of the guys that stuck around, wanted to see what spring ball looked like, see where they stacked up against some of the other guys, but also how they fit in these offenses and defenses. They didn't know much about it before. So I think once they kind of make it through spring ball and see where they stand, and they'll probably have conversations with coaches. And that's one thing that's fantastic about this coaching staff. They're going to be honest, and they're going to be honest about what could potentially happen for you. And hey, maybe if you're looking for this, you might want to look somewhere else. I mean, they're going to have open and honest conversations. They're very transparent with their guys. So it'll work itself out. I mean, it's definitely not something that they're going to be punished for here in the spring.
99 is where, again, they're at right now, so they're 14 above. But, yeah, it'll be fine. In fact, I think Nebraska may even add a couple of names between now and the August camp.
Yeah,
that'll happen.
There's going to be guys enter the portal from Nebraska. There's going to be guys enter the portal at other places, too. I mean, there's that window that happens in May that I think Nebraska will absolutely look at.
Right after spring ball ends. I think it's going to get a little crazy for the sport of football as well. 402-413-2400. Some more texts coming in. We'll get to those. Phone lines wide open for you as well. We're back to wrap up hour one next.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Looking for a car buying experience tailored to you? Start with Woodhouse, a trusted partner for automotive needs and a proud member of the Nebraska community. With 18 brands and 21 sales and service locations, our dedicated Woodhouse team is ready to provide you a convenient and seamless transaction from anywhere. Whether purchasing, selling, or servicing, experience the difference with Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
T&L Irrigation Company knows their way around a field and across it, into the corners, and even through storms. T&L engineers are constantly working on solutions producers need, like the new gooseneck cradle corner system attachment. It greatly improves corner span stability to tackle steep terrain and stand up to high winds. If you're looking to upgrade your corner system or add on new, call your T&L Irrigation dealer today or visit TLIRR.com to learn more. T&L, like no other.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra. The perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
That's my neighbor, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a big mistake. Hey, Joe, think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have the utilities marked before you start digging?
I'm not digging very deep. It's no big deal.
No big deal.
Dad, the TV's out. Internet, too.
Remember, safe digging always starts with a free call to 811. Oh, what a knucklehead.
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
Our Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. They've got 18 brands, huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. No show last time we had baseball. Huskers got a nice win at K-State. Big crowd down there. Jerome Tank, their basketball coach, came out. They were hooting and hollering for him. I saw members of their women's basketball team, so they had a lot of folks in there. It got chilly as the night went on. It didn't bother the Huskers. They posted a 6-1 win. Nebraska's RPI in baseball, which for the ball bat sports, it's still all about RPI. Huskers have vaulted up 50 spots in the last 3 weeks, so they're climbing the ladder. They're off to Michigan. 3 o'clock game on Friday afternoon, all-day games this week for Huskers. Huskers softball on the road this weekend. They go to Maryland to play. We've got actually on BTN tonight softball action. Northwestern playing Illinois. Oof, it's getting ugly. 8-0 Cats lead Illinois. Illinois is really fallen off. They've been one of the better teams in the league the last few years, but man, they're struggling right now. They're getting whacked by the Cats in Champaign tonight.
And Coach Revelle talked last week when I chatted with her about the quality of the Big Ten this year. It's definitely deeper. There are some more quality teams, and so
well, they've been deep. 7. They got 7 in last year.
But I think, even the teams at the bottom are improving, I guess, is what she's saying, that probably she's saying that 8 should have gotten in probably last year. Iowa probably should have made it, but it's a good league. Really all women's sports. Like, think about it. Volleyball.
No kidding.
Women's basketball. Look what women's basketball just did. I had a meeting today with women's basketball. I didn't even realize. Think about half of the Sweet 16, half of the Elite 8, half of the Final Four. Nebraska played multiple times.
Yeah, played a lot of games. I think Nebraska's record against teams that were in the tournament was 4-11 or something like that. So like 15 games against teams in the tournament.
Yeah, they played half, and not just teams in the tournament, teams that made deep runs in the tournament too.
People in the chat room concerned about the black shirt tradition. It isn't going anywhere. That's something you don't really deal with until fall camp when they hand out the #1 jerseys for the defense. So don't give Coach Royal's not getting rid of the black shirt tradition. It's just you don't deal with black shirts in spring ball.
And he's had conversations with the former players about that. He might do it a little differently, but it's not going anywhere.
So don't panic. Don't lose sleep tonight over all of that. Carl on our text line, I'm getting through basketball tournament withdrawal. Was going to miss Jim Nance calling the games. Will he continue with the golf and NFL? Yes, he will. Yeah, Jim's been a fixture at the Final Four for decades and does a great job. But as far as I know, he's keeping his NFL gig with Tony Romo and doing all the golf work. And so you'll hear him on the Masters this weekend. I'm ready for the Masters.
I know. I'm so excited.
You got a pick?
I do. I have a couple.
Scotty Scheffler?
Do I have time?
Scotty Scheffler, your guy?
I want to live. I'm going with Brooks Koepka.
Won last week on the Live Tour. Rory's due. He hasn't won this one. John Rahm's playing good. I think it's going to be fun. The weather forecast is bad.
My dad and brother are going to be there.
Supposed to rain.
If we need a correspondent, if we need any correspondent work down there.
That'd be great. Good for them. That'd be fun. It's a great course. Awesome. All right, well, hour one. Man, fast, hour one. Coming up in hour two, we're going to hear from Jamari Butler. We're also going to tell you more about NAPL, which is housed in Memorial Stadium. What is it exactly? We'll have all the deets on that. Folks, buckle up. Put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Hello, tomorrow. We may not know exactly what you've got in store for us, for our routines and our normals. But here's the thing. Turns out, we've got this. We haven't seen everything, but we have seen ourselves be more ready for whatever you bring than we thought we would be. So when it comes to tomorrow, bring on the day. First Interstate, built for you. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Visit us at firstinterstate.com.
I think farming picked me.
I didn't pick farming. I'm not afraid to try something new. It's my farm, my family, and our future. My Channel Seedsman gets that. I get access to innovative products with personalized advice backed by data to maximize my yield potential. With Channel, I know I'll prosper for years to come.
Define your future at channel.com/future. Read and follow pesticide label directions, IRM, grain marketing, and other stewardship practices. Copyright 2022 Bayer Group. All rights reserved.
Cornerstone Bank proudly serves Nebraska with a full line of loan and deposit products. Cornerstone is large enough to handle all of your financial needs while offering the personal service you deserve and the local decision-making you expect from a family-owned community bank. Stop in or call one of the Cornerstone Bank locations near you to discover the Cornerstone difference. Bank on a solid foundation. Cornerstone Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Good evening, I'm Greg Sharpe. Our sports ticker tonight brought to you by the 1890 Initiative. No spring practice today for the Huskers, but after yesterday's workout, special teams coordinator Ed Foley talked about dealing with the kicking game and all of our Nebraska wind.
Yeah, we were in there in the scrimmage, and it's not like there's a lack of wind on the practice field either. But to me, those are big conversations in the NFL. So those are, to me, challenges. Those are things that we have to overcome. They're part, and that's a huge advantage for us if we can, figure out the wind or figure out what the wind's going to do or figure out how we're going to attack the wind. So we're talking, I'm talking to Timmy all the time again, with some of the things that I learned in the NFL. We're looking at aiming points in the stadium or aiming points on the practice field that we're going to play the wind from. So, the pipes are obviously good, and we're trying to get the ball inside the pipes, but that's not always our aiming point. So we're working on, and that's true in the punt game as well. So the wind is a challenge, but it's something that we're going to deal with week in and week out and have an approach and a plan for how we're going to handle it.
Huskers back on the practice field tomorrow. We'll have a full practice report for you tomorrow night. Golf's first major, the Masters, starts tomorrow at Augusta National. The par 3 tournament was today. Tom Hoagie was victorious, beating Bubba Watson by a shot. After a lot of afternoon baseball around the bigs, the Yankees doubled up the Phillies 4-2. Tampa over Washington 7-2. The Marlins 6. The Twins 2. It was the Braves 5-2 winners over St. Louis. Pittsburgh beat the Boston Red Sox 4-1. Brewers walked off the Mets 7-6. They sweep that series up in Milwaukee. Baltimore is turned back by the Rangers 5-2. The Astros 8, the Tigers 2. It was Chicago, the White Sox beating the Giants 7-3. Guardians over the A's 6-4. In 10 innings, Angels beat the Mariners 4-3. Royals and Blue Jays, the only game left to be played today in the bigs. They're just underway and down in Kansas City, bottom of the second, no score. The 1890 Initiative helping student athletes navigate name, image, and likeness. To learn more or donate, visit 1890nebraska.com. We're back with Hour 2 of Sports Nightly next.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time. Sports Nightly is presented by the NDOT Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down.
Ralston again delivers 1-2. And Andrews swings and blasts it. Deep left center field. And gone! Home run, Brooke Andrews. And Nebraska takes the lead in the 6th.
To the fall, the 0-1 slider ripped to right. Hit pretty well. Ryan Mooring going back, looking up, and it is gone. Home run, Max Anderson. A 3-run blast to right field. And the Huskers have taken a 3-0 lead.
Here are your hosts, Greg Sharpe and Jessica Coody on the Huskers Radio Network.
It's a satisfying night when I've kept Crypto from crying.
Oh.
Said he was going to cry if the black shirt tradition went away. So I'm glad, Crypto, that I've been able to ease your pain.
I thought he said you were going to cry.
No, he said, Greg, I would cry
if
the black
Greg
shirt
would
tradition
cry.
was going away. So no.
Okay, yeah, I don't think it's going anywhere. Just is, like you said, not going to be anything that's talked about until the fall.
I think the coaches want to get it right. They want to really learn about it and make sure they're doing it right.
Oh, well, I mean, I had sat down with Tony White before signing day to talk about the guys, and he hadn't been here that long, but boy, he brought that up, how much it meant to him, and they wanted to research it and know everything, all the ins and outs about it, and not take it lightly by any means. I mean, for a staff that didn't play here, no players played here, and there's a lot of reverence and a lot of respect, and it means a lot. Like, it's the kind of reverence you most of the time get from players that did play here that understand. But boy, this staff, I mean, they go above and beyond to make sure that they are doing things right. It means a lot to them to wear the N, and I think it just says a lot because none of them actually played here or spent any time here, but they are very, very respectful of the tradition and history here.
Very much so. And one of the things that I think they will continue is the black shirts, a guy that has not gotten a black shirt, but I think it's destined to happen for Jamari Butler. You had a chance to catch up with him a few days ago.
Yeah, so I gave him a hard time. Jamari's got a great personality, so don't think I was being mean to him when you hear one of the questions I ask him. But he's one of the big personalities on the team, and so, yeah, I got a chance to chat with him yesterday. All right, well, first of all, you look huge. What kind of work have you been putting in the weight room?
Man, everything with Coach Campbell. I ain't gonna lie. We be getting to it in there.
How much were you ready to attack and, focus on the weight room just from back in January when you hit the weight room for the first time?
I mean, I knew it was going to be different. So, just capitalizing off of that, looking forward to something new every day and putting in the work, and it just is coming along.
So how have you felt like it's translated to what you're doing on the field now?
I can feel it, like I'm way stronger now, and when I'm tackling, it's way more powerful and dominant than how it used to be.
Well, about halfway through almost through spring ball, how has it been going?
It's been going smooth, really. I'm loving it. I'm loving the defense, loving the new snap. I'm loving it.
What are you loving so much about the defense, first of all?
I mean, I'm everywhere. So they don't really know if I'm in coverage or I'm dropping. So just playing with freedom, I like that.
Yeah, Coach White has said that it might look different every time out, but that it just allows the playmakers to go make plays. How much do you love that part of it, that it's not so restrictive, that it's going to allow the playmakers to go do what they do?
Yeah, I mean, see ball, play ball. So that's how you play football. At the end of the day, he's giving us that freedom and he's trusting us to make plays. So I thank him for that, really. What has it been like getting to know Coach White? I mean, he cool, I ain't gonna lie. And the way he just breaks down the levels of the defense with the 3-3-5, I like that.
And are you working with Coach Knighton too?
Yeah, both. I've been transitioning everywhere, really. Yeah.
So what is it, you mentioned the new staff, what is it that you like so much about these guys?
I mean, it's like a family, really. One of us owe you, that's their slogan, so you can feel that energy, when everybody's getting coached, so.
Coach Knighton had a heck of a pro career too, and then has worked with Coach Rule. What are you learning from him, and just again how to apply that to what you do on the field?
I mean, he got me trying stuff I never did, trying new moves. He giving me pointers when the O-line set and that type of stuff. So just taking in all the knowledge, because he's been there, he played pro, so he giving a lot of knowledge.
Speaking of the O-line, they're walking by right now, and what's the battle's been like against those guys? There's a lot of those guys that you've been going up against quite a bit in practice.
I mean, it's the trenches, so it's grimy, They working, we working, so it's a collision every time.
You're a familiar face, but there's a lot of new guys that's working on the D-line there, and with Ty Robinson being out, how have you liked some of those young guys that have come up and emerged here this spring?
I mean, hey, they balling. Cam, Linhart, Kyle Waller, them boys getting to it. So I salute them coming in, taking on a bigger role than what freshmen usually are used to. So, yeah, that's good, honestly.
What kind of mentality are you guys trying to, establish up front there on the defensive line?
I mean, defensive line, we set the tone. And I want the DBs to know that. So when they in man coverage, they don't even got to worry about, QB getting out, scrambling, and all that. We set the tone.
You're an older guy, you've been around. I know you're really well liked in the locker room. What's it been like kind of stepping into more of a leadership role for this team?
I mean, it's been different, really, because just speaking up, and then you actually got people listening. I got to get used to that.
Just overall your game, how do you feel like it's slowing down? You were a basketball guy, but now that you've been around, and I know you're learning a new defense, but do you feel like it's kind of slowing down even more so for you now?
Yeah, it's slowing down a lot, and then just getting in the film room and watching and analyzing, it slowed down a lot.
And what have you wanted to accomplish personally here in the spring?
I mean, this spring I was trying to just capitalize off the playbook, because everything different, everything new. So I wanted to know the ins and outs, wanted to know what everybody was doing. That way it helped me play faster.
And then just with the remaining few practices left, what does this defense need to accomplish here in these final few weeks?
I mean, I think everybody just got to get used to playing freely. We wasn't used to that, but now we have that, so everybody just need to get used to playing freely. This is really see ball, play ball. That's what type of defense he wants, so we just got to get used to that.
Give me a offensive playmaker that you've been impressed with on the offense.
Gabe Irvin, for sure.
What is it about him? His name keeps coming up.
Gabe different. He missed that. He missed that 1 year, and he came back different. I ain't gonna lie, he bigger. He more of a power back now, more than he was speed. So.
You having a hard time getting him to the ground? Is that what you're saying?
Nah. Nah, that's my guy though. But yeah, he balling this spring. He balling for sure.
I was saying over 50,000 tickets sold for the spring game. How excited are you guys to get back out there in front of Husker Nation?
It's unreal. I ain't gonna lie. 50,000 for the spring game. I'm just ready for the season, honestly.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I had to give him a hard time, but there is Gabe's name coming up yet again.
Not surprised. Jimari has just been so close, and I think, the philosophy last season did change when Bill Bush took over the defense to play more guys. And I know Tony White, Coach Rural want to play a lot of players. Jamari's going to be a guy playing football.
He hadn't been playing football very long. He's a basketball player.
Yep.
And so this is just still new to him, and he was behind a few guys. And, I think he's got that quick first step. I think he's got that athleticism. I think what he does, his intangibles, his tools that he has translates to what this coaching staff, to me, he's a prototypical type of athlete that they like to get and work around and mold and see where they fit and then utilize those skill sets. And so, and you could tell how much he's enjoying this coaching staff and this defense.
Steven in the chat room is exactly right. Look who he was behind last year. He's behind Garrett Nelson and Caleb and O'Shawn gets added to the portal. Those are really good college football players, so it's hard to find spots for him. And Blaze Gunnerson I would put in that same boat with Jimari, and I know Blaze is hurt right now, not getting a lot of reps in spring ball because of an injury. But Jimari just shows you, and when he got chances last year, he made plays out there for us.
Yeah, he did. And I think, like he just said, it's a freer, looser type defense, go make plays, and that I think is pretty conducive to the style that he likes to play.
402-413-2400. Carla texted in. I think we answered your question, Carla, on our Masters picks. I'm going with Scotty Scheffler. You've got Brooks Koepka.
I want to see some drama. I want to see a live guy win it. And
Could happen.
I would always pick Dustin Johnson, but he's not playing very well, so I'll go with Brooks.
Boy, if you watch any of the pre-tournament coverage, you can tell whether it's on the Golf Channel or ESPN's coverage the last couple of days, and I've had it on more than I should, but it pains them, Jessica, to talk about LIV. It just pains them.
Well,
I think they feel like LIV has ruined golf. I kind of take the other side of that. I think because of LIV, the PGA Tour has changed to make themselves better with some of the LIV suggestions.
Yeah, you and I have had this conversation. I've talked about this some on the air. I have a friend that's a caddy, and there's changes that needed to be made, and there was no competition. There was nothing in place to change, and the things that they've been doing since like 1965.
Yep.
And things needed to change and evolve, and they need to be better with the players and pay people, and there's just a lot of changes that need to be made. And I think a lot of the guys that left, they got a lot of hate saying, oh, they're just chasing the money, but I think a few of them wanted to make the game better and felt convicted about making some changes that needed to happen, and it's happened, and it's overall it's improved. I was seeing like some commotion going on over there. Molly and Cole both pick Rory. They both are on Rory.
Pick. He's not. This is the one major he hasn't won, so he's not. He doesn't have a green jacket. I think John Rahm's also a guy to keep an eye on.
Scotty Scheffler, too. I am not a fan of Rory. I don't like the way he's been outspoken against. And it's almost like the PJ kind of tabbed him to be their spokes guy.
Yeah.
But it's not, to me, it's not his place to dog people for their reasoning for why they made the choices.
The LIV is backed by Saudi money, and people feel like that regime is bad. But I guarantee you, PGA Tour probably has sponsors who are Chinese companies or other companies that our country doesn't really like right now. So it's a lot bigger than that, but I don't want to get too political. NAPL is not political at all, but we're going to talk about that when we come back next.
There is no place like Nebraska, and there is no place that treats you like your home like Sapp Brothers. For over 50 years, Sapp Brothers has fueled America's heartland and has been a reliable partner to local farms, businesses, and Huskers fans across Nebraska, providing the highest quality fuel, lubricants, and propane, servicing your farming equipment, and welcoming guests into our travel centers. Visit www.sappbros.net. Sapp Brothers is proud to be an official partner of Huskers Athletics.
One of the Nebraska Lottery's most explosively fun promotions is back. Cash Blast. Until April 18th, buy a 2x2 ticket, enter the voucher number, and you could win $5,000 or $500. If your winning voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket or a multiple of 7 ticket, your prize is doubled. There will be 7 weekly drawings and 14 total winners in Cash Blast. So play today. You'll have a blast. But that goes without saying. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 105,000.
Hit hard to the left side. Diving grab by Carey. He flips the second for the out. What a play from the freshman at the hot corner.
On Friday, the Diamond Sports are back in action for more Big Ten Conference play. The baseball team matches up with Michigan in Ann Arbor with pregame coverage on the radio beginning at 2:30 p.m. The softball team travels to College Park to take on Maryland. Pregame coverage beginning at 4:45 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Your story. It lives in River City, where you can enjoy a metropolitan vibe and a small town feel, where we set the standard for service and looking out for one another, where there's so much more than steak in our thriving food scene. Your story is the story of Omaha, told by those who live it and love it. Whether that's helping you keep up with the Cornhuskers or creating the content you crave. And here in the Omaha World Herald is where it comes to life. Omaha World Herald, where your story lives.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
In America, the future belongs to everyone. That's why we make trucks like Ford F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight and counting. Made for performance and capability. Made to play hard and work smart, on and off-road. That's because they're built Ford tough. So be future ready with Ford F-Series, based on 1977 to 2022 calendar year total sales.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. For the 5th straight year, the University of Nebraska system is a top 100 patent-earning institution. NU system researchers were granted 43 patents in 2021, with UNL researchers named as inventors on 25 of these patents. Husker patents include 3 projects with partners at the University of Nebraska Medical Center and 6 patents for a surgical robot developed by faculty in the College of Engineering.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance, more than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of June 2022. Duteau Subaru in Lincoln and DuteauSubaru.com.
Husker fans, don't miss your chance to get a first look at new head coach Matt Rule and the 2023 Husker football team. Be in Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 22nd for the annual Nebraska football red and white spring game presented by FNBO. Tickets are on sale now and are only $10 when purchased in advance and $20 on the day of the game. To secure your tickets today or for more information, visit Huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, Noddle Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes.
Noddle Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit noddlecompanies.com. Go Big Red.
Our Huskers Radio Network Broadcast Center, sponsored by Acres, the Midwest's premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody back with you on a Wednesday night. We have teased it throughout the show that we're going to talk about the NAPL, which is a thing that Nebraska developed, it's more than a decade ago, I think, is when they started the NAPL. You've done a deep dive into this, and this is one of our sponsored podcasts.
Yes, Midwest Dairy, and the local farm families have sponsored this season a series, Husker Performance Podcast, is what we titled it. So diving into the NAPL, heard that come up a lot with Fred Hoiberg. John Cook has a performance team. So Coach Hook is actually a part of this full podcast, but I wanted to bring you the conversation with Matt Tomy, who's the director of NAPL, to kind of figure out and learn a little bit more about how all of the workings happen with NAPL. So here is a portion of that conversation right now. Let's just start at the simplest form. If people were to ask NAPL, the Nebraska Athletic Performance Lab, how would you describe it? What would be your simplest definition of what it is?
Well, it's really, so the lab is one thing, and our department or staff is could be defined in another way, right? So the lab is an in-house sports science lab that was the first sports science lab ever built in a college athletics facility. In terms of sports science, that is very broadly really the application of scientific principles to improve sports performance. Now, that's pretty broad, so we can kind of go into some more detail on that too. But
it's the chips that you see sometimes, the straps that you're seeing. Are you guys responsible for that?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you'll see a lot of the athletes maybe when they take their pads off, football, any sport, they have these straps on, and then there's a little chips in it, and that's you guys' department.
Right. Exactly. So all of sports science, again, kind of starting a little bit more broadly and kind of working down to that specific application, all of sports science starts with a question or a problem. And in this case, and it's similar to research, right? You have a research question and you test your hypothesis. It just kind of works a little bit differently, because whereas research is fine with, say, publish the results and saying more research needs to be done, well, we have to have some kind of a solution or some kind of a application to that. And how are we going to use this information? So in that case, one of the things that we want to know about athletes is how much work are they doing in a practice or a game, and how does that change over time? So for us, we use some GPS or really some different, it's inertial data, I guess. It tracks all running movements. You can think about things like, maybe people are more familiar with heart rate zones, right? Lower intensity and higher intensity activity, which we can track heart rate as well. But this is more lower intensity and higher intensity actual maybe movements on the field, on the court, wherever. So we can really quantify the load on that athlete's body. So then we know, okay, we know what maybe a competition looks like for that athlete. This is what a game typically looks like in terms of a load for this position group. Well, we need to make sure that through practices and through the preseason, we're gradually building up to that load while still having some time to maybe recover, so having some lower load, having some fluctuation, and avoiding large spikes where we might be more susceptible to injury. So yeah, we're using that type of technology all the time.
Okay, so how cutting edge is what is in place here at Nebraska compared to other colleges? Are there a lot of facilities like this? Coach Hoiberg, again, I keep mentioning him because he's one that's brought it up a lot and sparked my interest in this. But he said his son now is working for an NBA team that they're installing a performance lab, and they have come to take away from some of the things that are in place here. And so is that pretty cutting edge, what you guys have in place here at Nebraska, collegiately and I guess professionally?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the NAPL was actually first built in 2013, and it's it is really interesting. It's still a cutting-edge facility, and that's telling with, yes, the teams from the NBA, from Major League Baseball, from the NFL, the Olympic and Paralympic Committee, all groups from all of these organizations either talk to us about what we're doing or come visit the lab oftentimes to see, hey, what has worked well for you, and how can we replicate something similar to this? And every time they walk in, they're in awe of, wow, this is amazing that you have this. And or I'll hear, visiting teams, sports scientists, maybe we'll chat and we'll kind of show them the lab, and they'll say, yeah, we have something like this, but not really even close. And so it's still very, very unique. And not only that, but not only the facility itself, but the staff. We have 5 full-time sports scientists and a sports analyst as well that work for us. So our ability to reach as many student athletes as we can is much greater than most universities. Don't have a single sports scientist. You'll have kind of similar to what I was doing early on in my career. You'll have the strength coach trying to function on the side as collecting some sports science data, whereas having a dedicated sports science team is still unique, let alone having 5 full-time sports scientists.
Wow. So we're going to hear from Coach Cook, and he kind of dives into a little bit what you guys do for volleyball. And I had mentioned Coach Hoiberg and brought his guys up there when the free throws were not going down, and you guys were monitoring some of that. Can you maybe dive into some of that, and what are some of those specific things that when they go up to the lab, what you guys do, and even just any sport that could maybe trigger what people, if they've watched a sport, what it might help them paint the picture of when an athlete goes up there to your lab?
Yeah, good question. And first, a lot of our time is actually outside of the lab too. So a lot of the things that I mentioned, we might be in the weight rooms or at practices and things like that, because really, again, kind of going back to if we're just a sports scientist in a lab or behind a computer, you become detached from the actual sport and the performance itself. And we're here as an applied sports science department, so being out there and around is important to us. But we have this amazing facility where we can take those deep dives into different problems and really go as deep as we want to go. So one of the large features, I guess, of that performance lab is our biomechanical analysis and our ability to essentially evaluate movement, in any way, any form, right? So it could be a sport-specific movement. It could be maybe some general different types of jumps or sprints or changes of direction in a return-to-play scenario or a performance scenario. So what we try and do with that, and it's a very unique problem, and we could get very into the weeds with this, but what good technique or good movement is, any of us who have watched sports know that even at the highest levels, there's a lot of variation in terms of how an athlete can accomplish something successfully. So we have to have clear outcome measures related to what that skill is. So, for example, for volleyball, it might be the height that they reach and their hand speed before they hit the ball, things like that. Of course, with basketball, if we're looking at free throws, is it make or miss, and where did they miss, and those sorts of things. Can we have some different metrics on the ball, because that's the effect of the movement? And then we want to look at, maybe some comparisons to athletes who have done this successfully and see, okay, where are some of the differences between these, and what are we seeing in those outcome measures, right? So we have to have an outcome so that we can go back and say, maybe determine cause and effect, because so many athletes can move differently and accomplish a successful movement skill in a different way. So it's a fun process, and it's always a discussion. right? And then based on some of those movements, we can say, okay, maybe these are some of, the coach might say, these are some of the coaching cues that I could use in practice that could maybe help this area. And maybe the strength and conditioning staff can say, you know what, that could be partly based on some strength deficiencies that this athlete has in this muscle group. So let's work on this. Or the athletic trainer saying, you know what, like this athlete is limited in their range of motion here. That could be potentially leading to this technique. So while we could kind of diagnose what's going on, we still work with all that staff to say, what do you think?
Right.
You know, and why do we think we might be seeing this?
It's why Coach Cook, it's why a bunch of coaches have said it's a team thing. I mean, you guys can't do your job without them, and they want a support staff around them that help their athletes achieve their highest level, right? I mean, at the simplest form, it takes a team to make this everything work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where again, you know, the applied setting is different from the research setting, in that once we collect the data, it's not just publishing the results and moving on. It's the data leads to a conversation. And then that conversation together with the performance team leads to a decision in terms of direction that we want to go. So I guess kind of at its core, what we're doing is collecting data surrounding a problem to provide information that can hopefully improve our decision making related to that problem along the way to better prepare the athlete.
Just got a couple more for you. On that note, when that problem is solved, and you see things kind of come to fruition and the athletes are rewarded for it. At the core of it, that's what we're all in it for, right? So how rewarding is that for you guys when the light bulb does go off for an athlete like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun. I think, you know, today's athletes more and more are very connected to technology. I think we'd all agree. And so it's fun to also teach the athletes about why we're doing what we're doing, and have them kind of come around the computer when we're doing different force plate assessments and watch those things. I mean, like you mentioned with men's basketball, when they were doing some of those assessments, it was the athletes are taking some shots and then they're coming over to look at the computer and looking at that feedback of, oh yeah, I am doing that, and it kind of clicks when they see themselves doing that, and they can take that, kind of internalize that, and you know, hopefully improve their skill based on that. So that's definitely the most rewarding part of the process.
Yeah, that was Matt Tomy, the director of the NAPL and part of our Husker Performance podcast, which is brought to you by Midwest Dairy. Late night studying, intense practice, cramming for that big test. Take a moment to reset yourself with dairy. Dairy foods like milk and yogurt allow you to stay in the game with immunity-boosting nutrients like vitamin A, vitamin D, zinc, and protein to keep you fueled without the crash. Trusted by athletes and supported by science. And again, that was just a portion of a full conversation. So I talked with him a little bit more, dove into a few things, recruiting, how NAPL plays into recruiting, because when these recruits are going on campuses, not very many places have a place like NAPL or sports scientists that they can talk to. Also, John Cook, mentioned him. It's big for him to have a performance team. He is big time into the sports science part of it. NAPL, he takes his new players as soon as they get here. It has years and years and years of data that he compares them to, and when to swing and all of that. So I also, part of that conversation, full conversation, also includes John Cook. So it's out right now on wherever you listen to your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, Huskers.com, but then also on our YouTube channel as well.
Great. Look forward to that. Baseball uses it a lot, too. They're up there a ton in the fall. Not so much this time of year, but in the fall when they get their initial testing done. Great. Listen, it is for if you're kind of nerdish, and I'm raising my hand, I'm in that category. I like stuff like that because it's cutting edge. It's what can be a separator, because there's so many good athletes now in all these sports. It's hard to separate yourself.
Oh, I mean, it's fascinating hearing Coach Cook talk about it, because I asked him, I was like, do you nerd out on some of this guys? So he was like, oh yeah, big time, because he said, you know, just tracking how much effort it takes, like the kinds of bursts that you use is more like football. So it doesn't do volleyball any good to go run out go run a mile, you know,
Right.
and just like improve your conditioning in that regard. It's a different kind of conditioning. And so he started by diving into that. And so and every sport is so different. Every athlete is different coming back from injury. How can you avoid injuries, certain things, a different kind of cut? I mean, there's so many different things that you can dive into. And it's not just them. They get together with the strength coach, with the coaches. That's what he said. We're not taking the place of anything. We're just trying to help provide extra knowledge of how you can continue to improve in any way possible.
Crypto said, can you imagine if Coach Osborne had this technology? Actually, Coach Osborne was the AD.
His. Yes.
When this thing all got started. So this is Coach Osborne's kind of brainchild to get this department up and running. So I like to tie those in together. 402-413-2400. That's the number if you want to be a part of the program with a call or a text. That is our Woodhouse hotline. Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations, or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands and a huge selection of pre-owned that you can always find what you are looking for with Woodhouse. Back with more of the show coming up.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Sam Pineda with Campus News. UNL has been awarded over $14 million by the U.S. Department of Commerce to expand robotics research and teaching spaces, part of a $25 million award given to the state of Nebraska to advance robotics research. The funding will allow the university to educate and train the next generation of Nebraska workers, entrepreneurs, and innovators for careers of the future.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Husker fans, this is Matt Davison with the 1890 Initiative. You've probably heard about NIL, name, image, and likeness, and now you can have an immediate impact on the success of our programs. The 1890 Initiative is a proud NIL company in Nebraska, and with your help, we can maximize our student athletes' opportunities with NIL and prepare them for life after college. Nebraska has always been a leader in college athletics. Let's do the same with NIL. To learn more, visit 1890nebraska.com, where 100% of your donation goes directly to Husker student athletes. That's 1890nebraska.com.
Farmers can make what seems impossible reality with a little hard work and ingenuity. They find solutions to reduce inputs and improve their yield. Valley Irrigation is no different. As the leader in irrigation technology, we deliver results and optimize your operation. Because when you have a vision for the future, you need the people that can make it possible by your side. Expect what's next. Expect what's possible from Valley. Visit us at valleyirrigation.com.
Looking for a car buying experience tailored to you? Start with Woodhouse, a trusted partner for automotive needs and a proud member of the Nebraska community. With 18 brands and 21 sales and service locations, our dedicated Woodhouse team is ready to provide you a convenient and seamless transaction from anywhere. Whether purchasing, selling, or servicing, experience the difference with Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Baseball season has arrived, and your local Cenex has all your favorite snacks and beverages for the game. So whether you're hitting the road for an away game, headed to Haymarket Park, or going to cheer on your favorite local team, make Cenex your destination for top quality fuel, your favorite snacks, and service from a local smile. Fuel your fandom at your local Cenex station. Husker Pride, powered locally at Cenex.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power, savings with style, and top-notch tech to keep you connected. Not to mention plush premium interiors and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. Toyota, the brand with a hybrid or electric vehicle for every driver. Toyota, the brand that helps save you money at the pump. Now, let me ask you a question, dear gas prices. You really think you can stand in the way of the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
SOS to the rescue. SOS to the rescue.
As the Huskers head to halftime, Frank is off the couch and headed for the fridge. Ooh, but he can't make it because he is so hot. The air conditioner is out again. SOS, he screams and calls SOS Heating and Cooling, his favorite Luxair dealer trusted since 1950. With Luxair, you get a free 10-year labor warranty with a new system. SOS Heating and Cooling.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
It's more powerful than the legendary Husker option offense. More powerful than the Blackshirt defense. It's the sun, and you can harness its power with JTech Solar. JTech, the official solar energy experts of the Huskers, can help you shrink your energy bills and start saving money now. Solar power is clean, affordable, and it's dependable because the sun always shines on the Huskers. JTech Solar for your home, business, or agriculture energy needs. Visit jtechsolar.com.
Celebrating 50 years in the commercial real estate development industry in Omaha and nationwide, NABL Companies is proud to continue its tradition of supporting Husker athletics. Check out what's new in Omaha, which includes revolving recreation and the food hall at Zone 6 in Exarban Village. Another exciting project coming soon are the Blackstone Urban Row townhomes. NABL Companies, creating long-term value through community development. For more information, visit nablcompanies.com. Go Big Red.
We're back inside our Acres Broadcast Center. Acres, the Midwest premier John Deere dealer, supplying the equipment and service to advance agriculture and much more. Acres, solutions for every field. Greg Sharpe, Jessica Coody with you here on a Wednesday night. I'm out tomorrow traveling to Detroit and then over to Ann Arbor for the Husker baseball series with the Wolverines. Jessica will have the show tomorrow night, including a practice report. The head coach will meet with the media tomorrow. He's gold. Those press conferences with him are gold.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that's how it continues. If he continues to give, because I mean, in the way that the media has been allowed to go to practices, and I think it's open again tomorrow. It was open on Tuesday, and so, you know, he's been pretty transparent with things and talking about things, and probably a lot of that is what he did at the NFL. It kind of have to be that way. So, but. Will be fascinating to see how he allows you in as much in those press conferences, if that will continue.
You know, there's some things that the NFL does, Jessica, I wish would kind of trickle down to the college game. That's part of it. The NFL has a lot of open practices. I don't know that we need to go to quite that extent at the college level, but I do think we need some kind of uniformity about revealing injury information. Either you don't do it at all, or everybody has to at least submit, like the NFL does, an injury report. This guy's questionable. This guy's out. This guy's probable. Whatever it is. A lot of college coaches don't want to do that.
It would be nice for the broadcasters, right?
Selfishly, yes, it would be, right? Because when you're putting your charts together, and then you get the game like, okay, X those three guys out. They're not playing today.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Quick story. So we're playing Indiana last year. And I go visit. I usually visit with the other team's play-by-play guy, 45 minutes before kickoff. Any last changes, and I'll say, yeah, this guy's in, this guy's out. Their guy didn't give me some stuff. Like the top wide receiver for Indiana did not play that night against the Huskers. And I see him at halftime, and he goes, gave me one of those. I'm like, so you knew. I'm like, what do you think? I was going to go run and tell our coaches 10 minutes before kickoff? They probably knew he wasn't playing either because he probably wasn't warming up, but I didn't know that.
Well, so now you can know not to give him anything next time around.
He's on the naughty list as we go through this thing.
Hey, also speaking of tomorrow's programming, Jess Shelley.
Awesome.
Going to join me on the show. So we'll talk about her decision to come back. Lots of talk about women's basketball, boy, what a huge news story it's been all week. And
Yeah.
even the ratings have come out, and even the Burden Tarasi show's ratings were crazy. They've had the highest, most viewed national championship, Final Four, Elite Eight. I mean, it's been big. And I know she was down there, so we're going to talk about a lot of different things at Jazz. If you have any questions for her, get them in, and I'll try to ask her a few of them, because I know we have a lot of interest. We get texted about her a lot.
We do.
We have a lot of families that talk about how big of a role model she's been to their kids. So excited to get her back on.
So on the reverse of that, to no surprise, the men's championship game was the lowest viewed final in history. Is men's college basketball in trouble?
I wouldn't say it's in trouble. I also just think it was not a very good game either. It wasn't a very, and it's like I told you, like I don't tune into every game all the time, but I'll get a notification or see something on Twitter like, oh, this is a close game. I think the ratings would have been better. People might have tuned in more had it been a 2-point game with 5 minutes left to go. But it really wasn't close. I mean, UConn pretty much dominated the whole time. It wasn't like it was an exciting, close game either. And San Diego doesn't really play pretty basketball either.
I shut it off.
I did too.
I did. I went to bed.
I did too.
turned it off because it was like a 12, 14-point game, and I'm like, there's no way San Diego State's going to come back, so I shut it off. Now, having said that, and asking you that loaded question, by the way, Monday's men's game was the most watched basketball game, college or pro, since last year's national title game between KU and Carolina. So you got to put it in perspective. It was lower rated than Kansas and Carolina, and that was my point last week. When you take a lot of the blue bloods out of it, and I do consider UConn a blue blood, but the other ones weren't. FAU, San Diego State, they weren't. So you take some of those. Don't tell him I said this, but if you had Duke in there, there would be more eyeballs.
Yeah, I mean, basketball is so much about,
and the women had it. They had the star power.
And they had star power on multiple teams.
They did.
The biggest stars of women's basketball advanced, and there's not really many stars right now in men's basketball either. We were having that conversation. There's way more big stars in women's basketball right now, and with men's, some of the one and done rules, some of those guys are not even doing that either. They're going to play overseas or opting to play in the academy or whatever. I mean, they're not even coming to college either. They're going to play overseas, and one of the ball guys do that.
The one and done has hurt college basketball.
But even the one and done's not even happening anymore.
True.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, even the best NBA talent are going to do
G League or
other
something
things
else
before going to the NBA. So. I don't know. I mean, I just there's not as many superstars in men's, and that's what's hurt them, I think, more than. And the women do have superstars, and they have to stay 4 years of college.
Why is that? Why is that different? I don't understand that.
I can't tell you the ruling.
But with NIL now, they're probably better off that they can do that.
Yeah, I mean, the money, that was a big topic of conversation on the Bird and Tarasi show, too. I mean, they're not even remotely close. That's why they have to go play in Russia and overseas, and they don't get paid very well to play in the WNBA. But it's good for the sport, for women's college basketball.
Yeah. Hey, First Interstate Bank, built for you. Learn more at www.firstinterstatebank.com. Member FDIC. Cole is yelling in my ear to take a break. We will take a break. Come back and wrap up tonight's show next.
Husker fans, don't miss your chance to get a first look at new head coach Matt Rule and the 2023 Husker football team. Be in Memorial Stadium on Saturday, April 22nd for the annual Nebraska football red and white spring game presented by FNBO. Tickets are on sale now and are only $10 when purchased in advance and $20 on the day of the game. To secure your tickets today or for more information, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 402-472-3111.
More Nebraskans are choosing chiropractic care first. Studies show that chiropractic is safe, drug-free, and the most effective treatment option for back, neck, and joint pain. It can also help patients of all ages reduce migraines, improve mobility, and maximize athletic performance. Keep the entire family healthy and active with natural, cost-effective chiropractic care. Find a chiropractic physician near you at nebraska-chiropractic.org. Get your life back with chiropractic.
To win the game, you got to have more strength. You got to be tougher. You got to be reliable. You got to want it more than the other guy. And you need a great team you can count on, backing you up the whole time. Whether it's in the field with your Massey Ferguson or on the field with the Huskers, red is the color of getting it done quicker, smarter, and efficiently. So this season, make sure you're checking out the lineup that'll get more done where and when it counts. From your Nebraska Massey Ferguson dealers.
That's my neighbor, Joe. Hey, Joe.
Hey, John.
Joe's about to make a very big mistake. Hey, Joe, you think it might be a good idea to call 811 to have your underground utilities marked before you start digging?
John, that's just for big projects.
Actually, it's for any digging project. Congratulations, Joe. You found your electric line. Remember, safe digging always begins with a free call to 811. You want to borrow my phone, buddy?
Brought to you by Nebraska 811.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Huskers, do you want a fulfilling career that's financially rewarding? Explore the many ways you can be a part of the insurance community. Go to iian.org/careers today. Business insurance is a lot to manage. Did you know a trusted choice independent insurance agent can help guide you through it at no extra cost to you? They'll do your insurance. You just do you. Find out more at trustedchoice.com.
I'm University of Nebraska-Lincoln student Hannah Pham with Campus News. Students in Nebraska's Rake School of Computer Science and Management created software that is saving a Nebraska e-commerce company 34,000 hours of work per year. Created by a group of 5 Rake School students for their Design Studio Capstone project, this software is one of 300 real-world software solutions created by Rake School students.
Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse, where you can shop your way from one of the 16 convenient locations or online at woodhouse.com anytime. 18 brands, huge selection of pre-owned. You can always find what you're looking for with Woodhouse. You know, I think every winter sport's pretty well done. Unless men's gym still has the NCAA championships, and they're kind of one of those winter/spring sports in a lot of ways because their season bleeds over. But we do have the bowling team is off to the NCAA regionals this week, so good luck to them.
Yeah.
They got a shot.
I mean,
they always have a shot.
That's a powerhouse program that is always competing for national titles. They kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that's definitely a team to watch out for.
Dominant program.
Men's gym, I mean, they have
got a shot.
They are. Stanford kind of dominates men's gymnastics because they get all the Olympians, and I know Oklahoma has as well. But Nebraska, boy, they finished third last year, and they got a lot of guys, and so we'll see how they compete. Women's gymnastics, I didn't realize this because I was saying this the other night. I misspoke, but they have the teams that advance from each regional. I didn't realize only one all around, and that it has to be the highest all around score from that. The team that didn't make
the team that didn't
make it, but only one. So the girl from Michigan made it. So Jade Carey, who's the Olympian, who's led the nation all year in the all around, basically, she's just going to compete on beam.
Wow!
It is the only individual event that she's qualified on.
That seems messed up.
It is, and especially how many times that's a time for another story. Time for another. We have that discussion, but the scoring on that, it's crazy. Like, she's not even going to be there to compete in the all-around. And she was basically the best all-around competitor all year long.
When is it this weekend for the women's?
I think so, yeah.
And the men's next weekend.
And so Emma Spence did not qualify because she was not that one.
Right.
And we didn't have any individual event qualifiers. But she was the regional gymnast of the year, so congratulations. Dr. Chatters was the, administrator of the
year, yeah.
Regional. So the future's bright for that gymnastics program. They got a lot of those routines coming back.
Outdoor track is underway. Great showing by some of the Huskers at the Texas Relays last week. Justin Sinclair's doing a great job. I'm predicting, folks, I think the Husker men win the Big Ten Outdoor.
I like it.
Mid-May.
I like it.
They got all those javelin throwers, those discus throwers. A lot of points to be scored in there. Have a good show tomorrow night.
I'm excited.
Folks, buckle up, put that phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Great to have Molly in studio with us tonight.
She's going to be doing the ticker tomorrow.
Good. Put her to work. Cole, always rock solid as well. Folks, have a great night.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Looking for a car buying experience tailored to you? Start with Woodhouse, a trusted partner for automotive needs and a proud member of the Nebraska community. With 18 brands and 21 sales and service locations, our dedicated Woodhouse team is ready to provide you a convenient and seamless transaction from anywhere. Whether purchasing, selling, or servicing, experience the difference with Woodhouse, the official auto dealer of Nebraska Athletics.
Hit hard to the left side. Diving grab by Carey. He flips the second for the out. What a play from the freshman at the hot corner.
On Friday, the Diamond Sports are back in action for more Big Ten Conference play. The baseball team matches up with Michigan in Ann Arbor with pregame coverage on the radio beginning at 2:30 p.m. The softball team travels to College Park to take on Maryland. Pregame coverage beginning at 4:45 p.m. Tune in to your local affiliates or at Huskers.com or by using the Huskers mobile app. Go Big Red.
You already got the hat, the jersey, maybe even the occasional red and white face paint. So kick things off right this season and add the FNBO Husker Visa debit card to the list. Pay loud and proud for every Husker decal, t-shirt, or hot dog at the game. Wear your heart on your sleeve and in your wallet with the Husker Visa debit card, free with any checking account from FNBO, the bank of Husker Nation. Get yours today at fnbo.com/Huskers. Member FDIC.
At CHI Health Clinic, we believe healthcare should be personal because knowing your provider personally makes appointments more comfortable, more productive, and more meaningful to your overall health. Get matched with a primary care provider based on your personality and lifestyle using CHI Health Clinic's My Provider Match. Take the survey at myprovidermatch.com to find the right provider.